school. And this idea was brought to me, me and a friend of mine. We was kind of talking about what kids need to know about basketball, about sports outside of it, once they don't get a scholarship or once they don't get a chance to play at the next level. So it's got to be other avenues that they need for us, careers, jobs, skills that they can learn just outside of going to college. A lot of times we thinking that just playing sports is the only way, but it's not. That's why I'm teamed up with Geek Leaks, and we're going to start our podcast called Bridging the Gap. So it can be another way. Just like now, you see, you got the young men up here playing games, and now you can actually make money. I mean, I heard esports now is drafting kids, So I told my kids, y'all play the game so much that you can actually make money doing it. So, again, Bridging the Gap is basically just answering questions that parents may have dealing with sports. They might have any type of questions. I don't know what they're going to say, but that's what we're here for.
So there's a lot of talk, about when it comes to once the ball stops bouncing in their life. So a lot of people, they're not, college material. So how do you, talk to those students or student athletes about their next steps?
It's Coach Mayberry. It's my assistant coach.
Hello. My name is Joseph Mayberry, and I've been blessed to be coaching with Coach Doug. This is our 13th year in Lancaster, but it's actually my 16th year with coaching. And our relationship is kind of synonymous to the question that she was asking. I really didn't even know that. I knew I loved the game of basketball, but I didn't know that that I could be a great high school coach until he introduced me to this arena. And we haven't looked back since. But a lot of times, there's a misconception with young athletes. They play the game and then they see the NBA, and the reality is all of them are not going to be able to make it to that level, even those that are really, really good, and like Coach Doug was saying, his work with Geek Leaks, man, I'll say at least 90% of the students that we coach love to play the game. They're already gamers, and they're already passionate about it, but they don't know that there are avenues that they can get educated from it. There are avenues, like he said, that they can make money from it, but not just gaming. We have a philosophy in Lancaster that says graduating with more than a diploma. So bridging the gap is to try to get into them and find out what their passion is. We just use basketball as the first model, but what are you passionate about? What would you get up every day and go do for free without somebody paying you? And if we can find a way for you to transition into that lane, find a way for you to live in your passion, then we've done our job. Of course, with basketball, there are fundamental rules that go with it. You have to work hard. There's no way around it. So if they become a gamer, you have to work hard. If you get with Code Up and you go through their program, you have to work hard. And so we're trying to bridge that gap for our youngsters so that they don't just think that it's this pipe dream or this fairy tale that, if I play for the great Coach Doug, then I'm going to make it to the NBA because he's coached Chris Bosh to the NBA. You think about all of the guys that have come along through his tenure. You have one guy that has made it that far. Chris Bosh is the only guy that that has made it to that level with the game of basketball. But there were 14 other guys on the team with Chris Bosh, and that was almost 20 years ago when they were, the mythical champions. And every season there have been 15 guys on that varsity team, not to mention the JV and the freshmen. And out of all of those guys, only one has made it to the NBA. That means that there are hundreds and hundreds of young men that we have to reach to find their passion and bridge the gap and help them to understand that. So I think that's pretty much the mission, is to help them discover their passion and live in it.
Thank you, Coach Mayberry. Also, I was wondering, when it comes to your student athletes now, I know you guys have a great season going on right now. You guys are 23-2, is it? 25-2. All right, that's awesome. Lancaster High School boys, right? Awesome. So with you guys, having a good season going on, I know everybody is not your Kobe Bryant on the team. How do you keep those students engaged? How do you keep those student athletes, I guess, into wanting to further their career, or whether it's, hey, I just may not want to go to college. I want to go and do something else.
Wow. It's an everyday challenge with us, just with our inner city kids. We definitely preach classroom first all the time. What you do in the classroom is a direct reflection of what you do on the floor. So they know that part of it. So, again, we try to talk about winning in life. That's a foundation that me and my partner, we started. It's called Winning Life. And basically what we're going to do, we're targeting kids who are not basketball players, who may not go on and play sports at the next level, who may not go to college. So we want to try to target those guys, those young ladies, and try to get them, set them some type of avenue. Pretty much, what do you want to do? What are you passionate about? Like Coach Mayberry said, where you're not trying to get up and not like your job. We want to try something, whether it's cosmetology, whether it's gaming, whether it's barber school. It's something that they can do. So that's what our foundation is about, Winning Life, and we want to try to continue to just help the youth, especially in our community first. That's something.
Okay, so also, I guess when you are looking, or when you're playing college, basketball, or whether it's football or anything like that, and say you don't make it to the next level, but you know that you had an opportunity to probably get more looks if you went to maybe a D2 school or HBCU. So what did you take on those, avenues, or just straight from high school going to across and going overseas to play basketball instead? So different avenues of getting into where you're trying to go.
Well, with that question, that puts me in the mind frame of the fact that I am a parent. I'm a parent of an athlete, and for me, once his basketball gift, I know at this point can get him a degree paid for. I've been afforded the opportunities that I've had in life because of that degree. I do understand that a degree is not for everyone, but it doesn't matter where the degree comes from if you earn the degree, And so, yeah, that's the same odds of everybody's not going to Kentucky. Everybody's not going to Texas. But, man, there are so many colleges, as well as I'm an HBCU graduate. I'd love for my son to go back and play at my former college, but if Kentucky calls, let's go to Kentucky. You see what I'm saying? But if if Lancaster University doesn't call him, man, if he gets a chance to get his associates paid for at Cedar Valley and then get his last 2 years paid for wherever, as long as he gets the degree, you see what I'm saying? In the midst of getting that degree, what are you passionate about? What do you want to, like Coach Doug said, what do you want to get up every day and go do for a living where you're not getting a headache, you're not frustrated about the fact that you have to go to work? But if that basketball could pay for that degree, then that's awesome. Mission accomplished.
Awesome. I'm an HBCU grad myself. I just wanted to know. Prairie View. Yes. Awesome. And I just wanted to know, Coach, as well, is that, you have your student athletes, and as a high school or middle school, there's always a lot of pressure because you're listening to your parents and then you're listening to your coach. What advice do you have to parents to help, get you, just to help steer that athlete in the right direction for y'all to get on the common page? You don't want to, pull and tug that student athlete to the point where, it hurts them more than helps.
Yeah, I know Coach Doug has hundreds of stories about parents, but he probably doesn't want to share them live. But, that can hurt the student athlete, actually, if the parent isn't on the same page with the coach. And to be honest with you, sometimes parents have pipe dreams bigger than the student athlete. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of times when parents come to the games, they're coming to the game, but they're coming to watch their child. You see what I'm saying? So their opinion and their emotions are wrapped up in their child's success. And, you know, what we try to get them to see is the team aspect, that it's about the best team to prevail. You know, some of you all may know or may not know Coach Douglas, but he's a two-time state championship coach. You know, we played for a state championship in 2010 and lost to the #1 team in the country. And each time that we've played for one, it wasn't about just one particular athlete. It's always been about the best team. And so I think that it'll be good if we could get parents on the same page as far as teamwork, you know, the sacrifices you have to make as a teammate, you know, the dedication you need to have individually to make the team better, more than son, go out there and score 30. You know, son, go out there and shoot 10 threes. It's more about, I think they'll gain more in life from the team aspect than from just the individual aspect.
You did. And what we like to do, too, we just like the parents to understand that it's definitely important that their child is just a part of something. You know, not worried about playing time and all that type of stuff like that. You know, just be happy that your son or your daughter is happy. You know, so just be happy that they're a part of something and they're a part of a team and they're definitely learning lifelong lessons.
All right, with your season still going on right now, you guys are 25-2. What has been the biggest challenge to get you guys thus far now?
The biggest challenge now is just keeping our guys focused. You know, our district is not as strong as it's been in the past, so just our practices have to be really, really, really tough. So I think just keeping the guys focused and working hard every day, that's definitely been our challenge up to this point.
All right, guys. And also, I do want to ask, I guess when it comes to being a coach and also an assistant athletic director, installing and pretty much, you know, there's sometimes you have the star athlete that feel as though rules don't apply to me. How do you go ahead and pretty much be transparent throughout your best player on the team and your worst player on the team? How does that play out when it comes to installing different rules and regulations?
Funny you asked that. I do have a star player on the team. Every year I do. And what I try to do, I try to treat every one of them the same, you know. But, you know, it's still limitations to that. Sometimes you don't want to create a rule that's going to sit your star player down. But at the same time, you want to make it, you know what I'm saying? You want to kind of keep the discipline there. I think with my group and with my experience, I just try to just be stern but fair. Again, when I was younger, winning was everything to me, you know. But now that I've moved, got older in coaching, it's bigger than that for me now. You know, I just kind of look at our youth and see that it's bigger than sports, you know. Once the ball stops bouncing, what are they going to do? How are they going to take care of themselves, you know? Or are they going to, what are they going to do? You know, a lot of times, man, our youth fall off to the side because they don't have a skill, you know, so that's why they're not marketable for a job, because they was just worried about football or basketball or whatever sport they was dealing with. So I just try to just kick basketball or sports to the side and just try to be a father figure or a role model to them and try to just teach them the right things. You got something with that, Coach?
I will say this as far as keeping them focused. Coach Doug, right now, you all are looking at a calm guy. This isn't the same guy once he's in that gym with that whistle around his neck. And I think that the guys kind of know that everybody can get it. Coaches is included, you know. So he does he has a culture that he sets that, I mean, you know, his expectation levels for their behavior, for their dedication, and for their hard work is pretty high. And so even the star player, I have to say he has to comply. You see what I'm saying? Am I not supposed? Can I drop a name? I mean, Mike Miles, man, we have a kid on the team this year that is amazing, but he even has to comply. You see what I'm saying? That's the decorum Coach Doug carries, that yeah, you're great, man, you're awesome, but he has to fall in line. And so what that does is the other guys that don't get as much clock as Mike or as much recognition as Mike, they like, shoot, if that applies to Mike, I know it applies to me. You see what I'm saying? And so it never wavers. It never wavers.
So last question, guys, before we wrap this up, and this is to the both of you. What is it that you want everyone to take with them to know about Bridging the Gap? Or what is it that what is your goal with the podcast of Bridging the Gap?
Well, the podcast, basically Bridging the Gap, again, is for parents and athletes along, students as well. If you have any questions concerning sports, dealing with, issues that goes on with a certain team, little league coaches, is this correct? Because sometimes parents don't know. They just don't know. They don't, because they probably didn't play sports, so they don't know how it goes. So they might have a star athlete, or they might have this tunnel vision, which we all do, about our kids. How do you address a coach? What are the timelines? Do you talk to a coach directly after the game? I don't think so. You probably need to wait 24 hours, but this stuff that we don't know, so that's what it is. It's just really just questions, concerns that they may have, and hopefully, Bridging the Gap, we can answer those questions for them.
And just to add on and piggyback off what Coach Doug is saying, Bridging the Gap is a mission to gain understanding. To gain understanding in both directions, to gain understanding of what our youngsters want and what they have inside of them. For us, because, we're generations away. You even listen, the music is even different. So the communication, we have to be able to understand what it is they want out of life, and we have to get them to understand the best route that we think that they should take to get there. And then once we gain understanding, it's about collective progression, progressing from that point. And like you said, it's just a forum. It's an opportunity to take away some of the ignorance, to help, even on the coach's standpoint. We're human. We want the best for the children and best for the team, but we're human. Sometimes we need understanding from the parents. You understand what I'm saying? And so Bridging the Gap is like it just says, is to connect all the parties concerned and try to find a way to progress and move forward.
Bridging the Gap also is what we're doing right now. This is new to me, coming into a gaming type situation. When we grew up, we always talk about, well, when we grew up, it wasn't like that. But, it's a new age now. So I feel like what I'm doing right now is Bridging the Gap, learning more about what's going on right here. Again, I think this is awesome, man, where kids can come in and actually learn. I see the Code Up. I don't know anything about Code Up, but like I say, I'm Bridging the Gap again, like myself, just kind of just learning. I think what Danny has going on right now with Geek Leaks is awesome. And I can't wait to just team up with him, kind of get the community involved. Again, all my athletes play games. They do. They are Geek Leaks. They really are. You say the word geek and they don't like that, but they really are. They play games all the time. So I think this is a great avenue for them. You can't get drafted physically playing the game, but if you love basketball or whatever, you still can get drafted. So the kids can definitely have that dream, playing that game and possibly can get drafted and make a lot of money playing.
All righty, thank you, Coach. Maybe we can get your starting five up here to play against some of the Geek Leads in the 2K tournament one of these days.
That'd be dope. I think they'll love it. I mentioned it to them yesterday, but we had a lot of kids out, today, so they would have came. But that's the plan, to get the guys up at the podcast, come talk and play the games and Just see what new avenues that Geek League's is bringing to the southern sector.
All right, well, we'll be looking forward to that. Thank you again, Coach Doug and Coach Mayberry of Lancaster High School. And this is Bridging the Gap, guys. We are now about to get ready and start the pregame show with Spot On Sports.
Thank y'all for coming out.
That's the name on our shirt.
Oh, Mayberry?